Man, when I wake up in the morning, I want to hit a golf ball. I almost got hit by lightning and watched an alligator attack.
Tell us about your coaching and golf social media journey.
Everybody is on the doorstep of a breakthrough.
How does a former professional golfer rediscover the love of golf after a playing career ends? And how do they find their voice as a content creator in golf? What can we golfers and creators and coaches all learn from that journey? Welcome, everyone, to the FLG Golf Podcast, a place to learn from, laugh with, and be inspired by people who have found a life in golf. I'm your host, Mark Bosch. And if you're watching or listening to this as a golfer of any level, from recreational to professional, whether that journey is beginning or ending, if you're watching this as a golf content creator, whether hopeful or successful, or if you're watching this as a golf coach, either online or in person at any stage, I'm very happy to introduce David Buck of BigSwingKings. That's www.bigswingkings.com. And thankfully, at BigSwingKings on the rest of the platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Super helpful for all of us. David, welcome to the pod.
Amazing, man. Mark, thank you. And I effing love golf.
You can swear on this show. We can be explicit. You can say it.
I fucking love golf. That's all I want to do. I got other responsibilities in life. You got to make sure you pay the bills and take care of your family and spend time with your kids and your wife and doing other stuff. But man, when I wake up in the morning, I want to hit a golf ball.
Amazing. So tell us about yourself. Give us the bite-sized version of you.
You know what? I am a crazy, out of the box. I loathe being in the box. I like simple, effective stuff in life that just works. If it doesn't work, I don't use it. And that just goes to all life. That's golf stuff. That's life stuff. I guess I just love finding truth, simplicity, things that are effective, things that are thought of differently. And I am not scared to test out those things and buy stuff that's like, ooh, that looks interesting. I wonder if it works.
You were a former professional golfer. Which tours in the US were you playing on?
Everything short of the PGA is basically what I would say.
And they're known now by different names than they were how many years ago?
Back in the day, it was Buy.com, it was Pepsi Tours, Canadian Tour, it was Tight Lies Tour, Moonlight Tour, Teardrop Tour, the New England Pro Tour, the Iowa Summer Series. Anything and everything that I could get into.
So give us two truths and a lie about yourself. Let's see how crazy your life and your experiences are.
Number one, I almost got hit by lightning and watched an alligator attack mere feet from me, all within a 2-hole stretch. Okay. Number two, I once had a playing competitor in a professional tournament in my group break every one of his clubs before walking off the 13th hole. Number three, I once made a hole-in-one after hitting it into the trees from 206 yards, and it bounced out and rolled into the hole.
I have a feeling that the almost getting hit by lightning and then someone being attacked by an alligator within 2-hole stretch, I think that one is true. I could see the frustration of a player, but breaking every club, I don't really get the sense that all of the golfers are just able to, hey, TaylorMade or PXG, I had a little bit of a meltdown. Can you just send me an entirely brand new set of a bag of clubs? I don't know if that's likely. I want to believe the hole-in-one story of 206 off a tree, bouncing into the hole. Am I right that is true?
Okay, number three is false. I have not made a hole-in-one at all, ever. But that does bring up the other two, and I could tell you those stories rather.
Yes, absolutely.
So the lightning, it was the alligator and then the lightning. But what happened was we were playing a place in North Florida, in Milton, Florida area. And there's a 3-hole stretch that goes around this rather large pond. And we were on one of the tee boxes, and there was a bird next to us on the tee box, and the alligator jumped out of the water at a speed unexpected for us Canadians.
So you had no idea that it was there?
No, I didn't know it was there, but it did make an awful lot of noise, and there was a lot of bird bone crunching noises as it was it caught its prey. So I guess it didn't, almost kill me, but
Yeah.
as a Canadian who's used to, well, I don't know, we got bears, but we're used to those things. Anyways, and then it wasn't supposed to thunderstorm. Like there was rain a little ways off, and it was, it was far enough away where everybody's like, yeah, no worries, it's going to be fine. And this is back in the day of metal spiked shoes. Okay, this is still
Yeah.
metal
Yeah.
spiked shoes, and a bolt of lightning struck a tree green side. Okay, and you could feel the electricity through your feet.
Jeez.
At which point, because you have the right, if you ever feel unsafe on a golf course, to choose to leave, I stuck a tee in the ground, left my ball there, put my club in my bag, and walked straight.
Were you the only one? Was there
Oh no, we
anyone
all
that
did.
played
It
on?
was
Okay,
it was
good.
very loud, very scary. It was shocking. It was unexpected. Okay.
Yeah.
The second one, I had a playing competitor in my group break every one of his clubs before walking off the 13th hole. It was a mini tour event in northwest Georgia. It was a reachable par 5, and if you hit it down the left side of the fairway, you could cut through a gap of trees that went to the hole, or you had to play out to the right and it went around, making it a 3-shot hole. But it was about a 235, 240 carry, which for me back in the early 2000s was a little more than I was comfortable with. So I didn't even consider it. But this guy hit a nice tee shot down the left side and he went for it and to it. And his second shot was struck very nicely. But unfortunately in golf, that does not necessarily mean you get a good result. And he clipped one of the last branches on just the edge, and it dropped straight. It didn't go through the branch, didn't pop up and over. It just dropped straight down into the crowd. So he had to drop and choose to what to do from there. So he decided to lay up from there, goes out to the right. So now, that's 2 in, 4 hit to the right. He's hitting 5 into the green. He's got 100 yards or so, and he shanks his sand wedge out of bounds to the right.
From deep rough.
No, from the middle of the fairway.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I feel his pain now.
And keeping in mind, he's 4 under at this point. And so it's like he's playing really well. And so he drops now 7, and he blades it over the green out of bounds. Has to drop again. Now 9. I don't remember exactly what happened at 9, but he wasn't on the green until his 13th shot. And he drains the 50 footer for a 13. And so he walks back to his bag and he takes his putter and he just cracks his putter over his bag and proceeds in a violent rage to take out every single one of his clubs and break it over the bag in the most energetic feat of rage I've ever seen. When he finishes the last one, you could see his shoulders kind of relax back and he turns to us and says, "Guys, I think I had about enough for the day."
What happened to this guy afterwards?
Never saw him again. Maybe he was an apparition. I don't know.
When you were playing on those tours, how close are the players to what we see as PGA golfers, where there's almost consistent perfection, versus them having shanks and blades? And do they look really a lot like amateur golfers, or is there almost an imperceptible difference between them and what we would see on TV? But it's just something you can't put your finger on.
So close. So close. And now to give you an idea of the, let's call it 400 names that I would have recognized or played with or traveled with during my playing days, the ones that were at the same level where I was, only 3 made it. Only 3 made a career out of playing.
Okay.
That's a very low percentage. It's ability, yes. Then it's playing well in the right event to be able to get some status, to be able to get access, to have a chance.
Mhm.
Because play on the PGA Tour, the courses, they're set up a specific way. Yes, they're very hard, but the grass is perfect. The greens are perfect.
Yeah.
The tee boxes are perfect. Yes, the rough can be tough, but it's perfectly tough. The bunkers are raked to perfection. But the mini tours, they're playing everywhere that they can get on for the cheapest possible rate, because all the mini tour players are dead poor and can't afford the necessary green fee to be able to play those courses, let alone host a tournament there and take it up for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. So
So let's take a step farther back. Let's go as far back as we can in your golfing journey. How did it get started?
I had a brother. I still have a brother. I don't had a brother. I still have a brother. And he loved playing baseball, keeping in mind I was 13 years old. He was 16 years old, and he took a pitch to the inside knee and blew out his knee. And of course, I watched all of that. And I thought to myself, I don't want to play a sport where I'm just randomly going to get injured. I don't want to play football or hockey or baseball or lacrosse. So I said, Mom, Dad, I'm not doing baseball anymore. Then I told my buddy at school, and he's like, well, I got a golf membership at the local course here. It's $300 for the summer. My mom's going to drive me every day. You want to come? Sure, I'll come. And that was that. By the second summer, we had it figured out. We'd make a tee time at 6:30, at 9:30, because we'd get around in 3 hours. And then we'd stop for lunch, and then we'd play again at 1:30. And then if we had any energy left, we would play a few more holes later on in the evening till it got too late to even see. And then we get picked up from the golf course. And then the year after that, my brother, whose knee was healed, he's like, well, I'm going to join you too. And so we spent all of our time at the golf course. And that's really the only place I've ever wanted to be ever since.
At some point, your family has to decide or support your decision to say, I'm not going to pursue, a traditional form of education. I'm going to pursue a lifestyle as a pro golfer and see if that turns out. What's the math on that?
Yeah, my dad is a really, really wise person. He always has the ability to see things that other people don't. And so we got talking about it, and he says, well, you're smaller than most of these other guys, and you've been playing a few of these tournaments, these these junior club championships and a couple of these local junior events, and things have been going pretty well. Why don't we get you a coach and then choose not to play any tournaments and just practice, just get better, see how good you can get at hitting the ball, at driving the ball, at putting, chipping. And so we found a coach, and he said, absolutely. So we said, we're going to grow, we're going to get stronger, we're going to spend time in the gym, we're going to do this properly. And so I spent a year and a half at the range, on the course, on the greens, hitting 1,000 balls a day and having a practice regimen that went from 4:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Like it was awesome.
Yeah.
I have no other responsibilities. And by the time I was 17, started playing tournaments, qualified for all the national tournaments, and played in the World Juniors, and did really well, and got some scouting down to some universities down in the States, which chose to go down to California, which lasted a grand total of 6 months due to some, shall we say, yeah, think of the title of this podcast. That was not the attitude of the coach that I had. And so I quit there, and I didn't want to, it was April at the time. And my brother, who had also taken up a career in golf, was chasing the mini tours and trying to play professional golf. And so I went and joined him, and the rest is history.
What was the closest that you felt like it could be a reality? And I guess sort of let that bleed into, when did this sort of fizzle out for you? When did you have to decide that the pro tour had to see its demise?
The reality is, where I was so close was also probably the thing that broke for me, because to give you a little bit of math, mini tours, smaller events, payouts, the top 30% get paid. Okay. So the top 30% get a check. The top 20% have their bills paid for that week. The top 10% make money. And I was finishing consistently between the 20 and 30% mark. And so it was like, now your week looks like this. You go on Sunday night or Monday morning, you go to wherever the new place is. Monday afternoon, you go out to the course. And this is before like rangefinders were really a thing. Yeah. You go walk the course, you make your own yardage book, you figure out what kind of grass it is, how it plays, whatever. Tuesday, you go play a practice round, chip, putt, play around the greens. Wednesday, same thing. Sometimes they would have a pro-am on a Tuesday or Wednesday, in which case you'd play in the pro-am, because if you played in the pro-am, you get $200 or $300, which would pay for your hotel. So you absolutely did that. And then you kind of used it as
Your practice round.
as you practice on. So you chip
Yeah.
a putt around and whatever. You start playing on Thursday, Friday, hope to make the cut. And if you do, then you got Saturday, Sunday. And essentially it works like this. If at any point in there you make a big mistake, you just don't get paid. And so
Yeah.
it becomes a patience game. And so that patience and grind, it's not like you can get better during those times. You're just trying to figure out how to play well in this course today in this place. And so if I was to do it all over again, there's a few things that I would have changed. And one of those things, I would have built in a period of, let's call it 2 months, to go and stay in one spot to work on the things that I was weak on. So to improve, because in 2 months, you can do a lot if that's all
Yep.
you're working on. But if you're mixing in tournament play in there, you have to be ready for this. You can't make changes. You can't make adjustments.
Mhm.
It becomes just kind of a very stressful repetition, and you don't realize how stressful it is until you finish. And one of the things that I found so interesting, I just mentioned on it about stress, but just to reiterate, people say, oh, is it a stressful, that must be a stressful lifestyle. And what's interesting is it's not, it's absolutely not, but only because it's continual stress. So there's no vision of no stress. And so
Yeah.
life is just stressful and you don't notice it. And so it just
Yeah.
becomes one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And you never stop. Then there's a very good
Yeah.
chance that I was too immature at the time to be able to handle that. And that's probably the thing that broke it for me.
Mhm.
At 19 to 22 years old, I just didn't have the maturity to be able to see those things. And it came out at some really bad times. I mean, I was playing a 5-round qualifier for the Canadian tour. I was playing really well. I was tied for third going into after the third round, and then tied for ninth after the fourth round and the last round. So then now there's one of those days you got to play well. And the breaks didn't go my way in the first
Yeah.
8 holes. I missed a 2-footer because the ball hit up something and, bounced left. And then I hit one. There was a water hazard going across that was a foot wide and it was out at 290, but I don't hit it 290. Well, I caught one really good and it dribbled, like it didn't bounce over it. No, it just dribbled right into the hazard in the middle of the fairway, those kind
Yep.
of things. And I ended up missing my card on the number, like
Yep.
by a stroke. And that kind of stuff reveals the pressure that you feel. The end for me ended up being a choice to go a different direction. And through that choice, met my wife, grew my family. And like, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't do it any other way. But I did it so quickly that I regretted that. I don't regret what happened after having chosen to quit, but I do regret how quickly I did it and would do it differently today.
So outside of the physical skill, what are those mental skills that you wish you would had? What advice would you give yourself or someone like you when you were starting out that would have made a huge difference for you if you
The
could have
great
known at the time?
the great news, Mark, is that I've had so many years to reflect on it. I actually do have these skills now. I just
Now you
I was
have
like,
them. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a little
Yeah.
bit late.
Yeah.
And it's number one, control of your emotions. Emotion and truth are not the same things. And this is true of life and this is true of golf. But we look at a mature person in any avenue of life. And the thing that qualifies that person as a mature person is somebody who is able to control their emotions, no matter if it's great things happening or if it's terrible things happening. So, you look at somebody, okay, building on fire. What do? You're not standing there going, building's on fire. You're saying, okay, is there a way in? Is there any screaming? Can I hear anything? There's a dog in there. There's a dog near the window. I can get in that window. And they run towards the window and make a calculated choice of, I can get that dog. That's
Mhm.
the ability to keep thinking when pressure is heavy, when any kind of
Mhm.
emotion is heavy. And the ability to just stay even, no matter the scenario, is the most valuable and probably under practiced skill in golf. Number 2 would be the ability to not see the pin. Sure, we need to know where it is, but
Yeah.
it's the ability to make up your own game in your mind. I am a phenomenal speed putter. I can two putt from everywhere. Being able to get through an event hitting only to your strengths is the second most important thing, because when you get to that level, you have the ability. And the really hard part is recognizing where your strengths are and having the emotional stability to choose that instead of going at the pin in that instance that it could lead to a bogey if you miss.
Off the course, what are those mental mindsets, that mental framework a pro golfer should have if they're gonna make it, balancing this life, this constant stress that you talk about?
I'm going to paraphrase a conversation with somebody that I had that made it, because he answered that exact same question that I asked to him. Tim Simpson was a former top 10 player on tour in the 90s, but I came across him just as he was prepping for the senior tour. And we were playing a practice round. And I said, basically, like, what was the thing for you that helped you to really break through? And he said, when I first got on tour, I did everything. I took that same kind of young guy, trying to make it mentality of doing everything that I could, playing all the pro-ams, playing the extra practice rounds, sneaking in an extra round to go prep for the US Open. And I filled my calendar so full that when I would make the cut and then I would play on Saturday, he said it was about Saturday or the 13th, 14th hole where things would start to dip. And by Sunday, I just didn't finish well. And I didn't finish well because I was so tired from all the things that I chose to do early in the week that I had nothing left in the tank for Sunday. So he said, I said to my agent, you need to clear my calendars completely on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I stopped playing the pro-ams and I stopped being available and I stopped doing the clinics, which of course people didn't like. He said, but I chose to prioritize my Saturday and Sunday. And that's when I broke through.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of being able to, this is one thing I did not do well at the time, which I did not have the emotional maturity for. And that was to prioritize myself, because my characteristic, my beliefs in life, my core beliefs is others focused. I care for others more than I care for myself. So to then say, no, this needs to be me, wasn't something that I was ready to say. When I need to, I can say that now, but back then I couldn't.
So your professional journey did not end with a tour card on the PGA Tour, and that will be the reality for the majority of the golfers that start. How do you cope with life after golf? How do you depart the world of a professional golfer and prepare yourself for something completely different?
Well, the first part of your question, the answer is gratitude. If you have no expectations in life, and I'm going to use that word liberally, okay? Expectation being, this is going to happen. That can be in relationship, business, life, golf, anything. If you expect something, this is my little soapbox here on this particular topic, but if you expect something, there's no benefit from it. If you get it, good, well, I expected it. If you fall short, it's like, wow, this is crap. However, if you have nothing but gratitude, I'm thankful that I have this opportunity. I am thankful that I have this wife. I'm thankful that I have these children, this home, this job. And I am looking forward to what happens next. Then everything becomes a positive. Okay. So if I expect everything and get nothing, it's all a negative. If I expect nothing and get anything, now everything is a positive. So how that looked moving forward out of a career that I adored, loved, that was what I wanted. And then moving on from that, it's a matter of choosing to be grateful for the opportunity that I have today. And I mean, long story short, life has brought me back around to golf, and I'm really happy about that.
That is such an opposite from going through business school and then getting an MBA and talking to success experts throughout your career. It's all about specific goals. It's almost like that is the only way to achieve those things. You're right about those expectations, but that is incredibly difficult because it is almost against what we are taught at all times. Imagine your success, set very specific checkpoints. Like, how does that balance? Can you still do both? Where's the nuance there?
No, I can go for 6 hours on this topic. This is fantastic. It depends what your success is, man. Like if you go and go into a nursing home and all the people that will give you the time of day, which is everybody, because they've got all sorts of time, you go ask them what they did in life, and you'll find professionals, you'll find doctors, you'll find successful business people, you'll find people who work in the factory their whole life, and ask them the question, if you were to do life all over again, what would you do differently? Well, I dove down that path and I asked probably 150 different people that question where I could actually get answers. And not once did I hear, I wish I would have set more goals. I would have achieved a bit higher in my company. I would have made this or done that. It was always things like, I wish I would have had a better relationship with my family, with my spouse. I wish I wouldn't have gotten, divorced the first time. I wish I would have experienced this thing or gone this place. And you start making a list of these things. And I think that I'm smart enough to learn from that. You'll find out that the things that we think are important in life aren't actually what we think is important in life. We say, oh,
Yeah.
I want to do this thing in business. Okay. Well, why do you want to do that thing? Well, because I want more money. Okay. Why do you want more money? So that I can be free. Well, hold on a second. So then you don't want this thing in business. You want the freedom.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just that you're focusing on the business thing to get you the freedom when maybe there's another path to get you the freedom without the business thing.
All right. Now, freedom and a business is something that you are pursuing now. Tell us about your current journey. It is a coaching and golf social media journey that I think a lot of us are trying to also find a way into. How did this begin? Because it didn't start immediately after your playing career was over. There was
Now,
an odyssey to get here, right?
well, after my playing career, when I gave up golf, I gave it up. I was done. I was not going to end up in a pro shop. No, if I'm going to be at a golf course, I'm going to be playing.
Yeah.
So I gave it up completely and started something different. And my wife and I actually found a wonderful vocation. We became wedding photographers and commercial photographers. And we're really good. Like we're right up until COVID. We had a very successful, very vibrant business and we did very well.
Mhm.
And COVID shut it all down. And so we started looking for a life. I want to say online, similar to what you were talking about, Mark, about, finding a path away from the 9 to 5 that
Mhm.
you had been doing. And for us, it was a location freedom thing. With booking weddings, you have to be in a certain place at a certain time. At that point of
Yep.
year, our kids are 9 and 12. We only have 16 years realistically with them where they're
Mhm.
ours. And we wanted to spend that time with them. And we do. And we've done very well at that. But in that journey, after our business was essentially shut down by choices of others, we started and closed. See, failure. There's a lot of failure in here. You're going to hear a lot
Yep.
of failure stories in my life because I have a lot of them. Some of my closest friends call me a professional career tester because I do not stick to the thing that is safe. I try to do the thing that I actually want to do as
Mhm.
long as I can do it. And
Mhm.
and so we started a number of different online things and they weren't very successful. But what we did learn in there was how to navigate the online world as far as content creation. See, we already had skills from photo and video, so we could make
Yep.
things look good. And then, it's storytelling, it's how to talk to people, how to communicate, how to create marketing material, how to put a funnel together and put a website together, how to put a digital package of some kind together, how to market that, how to get it out into the world, how to talk about it. There's a lot of different pieces that go to it. And all of those failures for us, we can see now led to where we are now. Of course, at that point, it was just frustration. And it
Yep.
culminated about a year and a half ago when we threw all the spaghetti at the wall. Our idea of what we want to do here is not working, but there's got to be some audience for us somewhere.
Mhm.
And one of the spaghettis that we threw at the wall was diving back into the golfing world. Now, for the last 20 years, I've coached golf. Now,
Mhm.
it's been quietly, it's not been publicly. I've coached some juniors who are trying to become pros. I've coached people around me for a long time, and I think through things that's it in a really fun way. But I started putting some of that stuff out online, and it was really well received. So
Mhm.
much so that people started randomly just sending me their swings and being like, "Hey, can you critique this?" And
Yep.
so the first one that really went well for us, I critiqued a guy who had a very big slice, newer golfer, a very common problem. And I explained something about the good loop versus the bad loop. And that was the hook yeah, by the way, that's the other thing you're going to learn is hooks. And so I said, dude, you're doing the bad loop. You got to do the good loop. Here it is. And it was a short little video and it went to like 500,000 views and got a whole bunch of people in. And I was at that, in that little spurt, I was getting like 15 to 20 people sending me their swing every day. So I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta make some kind of a product for this. So then I created something that I could sell for it. And then I created a course for it. And then I offered one-on-one teaching now. And now I'm doing results-based coaching, which is really interesting. And I think quite breakthrough-ish. And that's become the thing that's becoming very successful for us. But in order to succeed in the online world, you have to have an audience. In order to have an audience, you have to have something that's different and is kind of uniquely you in that. I'm a very vocal, flamboyant, energetic, positive.
You think so, David?
I do think so, Mark. I love life and I love golf and I love seeing people succeed at things. And succeed doesn't necessarily mean break par. For some people, succeed means I want to stop shanking it.
Yeah.
Sweet. That we could do that. That's success.
Succeed for some people can mean getting through a round without wanting to quit the game.
Yes. Yes, it can. And so we started creating some products and feeling through what people want. And then all of a sudden, a bank account balance is rising and we're getting affiliate deals with people to promote other products. Then there's some online monetization stuff between YouTube and TikTok and that kind of stuff that pay for views. And there's about 6 or 7 different revenue streams when you start succeeding online, where people start reaching out to you and sending you products and asking you to review them and having financial benefit from them because you have an audience. But it all comes down to that having something to share that you'd actually want to watch.
One of the videos that I saw that I absolutely loved was you are a right-handed golfer.
Yes. But
you decided to test your own skills as a coach by teaching yourself to golf left-handed.
I'm about to do something absolutely crazy. I'm a former playing professional, and I've never, ever swung a club left-handed. And I'm going to learn how to play left-handed. Following my own instruction, my own online course, my own advice, I'm going to learn to play left-handed. And this right here is the start of the new series on me sucking as a left-handed golfer. But there's only so much you can do with somebody else. Yeah. I want to, like I said, I like buying things and testing them and figuring it out. And so it's like, well, we started getting some really good results from our self-paced video coaching program called BAM, the ball accuracy method. So that's BigSwingKings.com/BAM. And it's like, well, if they can do it quickly, why can't I do it quickly the other way? So I went to my club, I rented a set of left-handed clubs and I went out and played. Never swung, never did anything. And I'm like, dude, let's do this. And now since then, I've been practicing daily. I now own 6 left-handed clubs and I'm starting to hit the ball pretty well. But it allows you to start having the same joy golfing all over again. I made a birdie left-handed and I was ecstatic.
So if you are out there listening as a golfer and you feel like you're not accomplishing enough new things to maybe reignite that spark in the game of golf, pick up a left-handed set and send your swing to David Buck and start and try to make your first bogey with from the opposite side of the ball. Gosh.
So I'm saying I'm going to keep going at it until I break par.
It's a great angle at kind of what you're saying is like, do something for yourself, but if you are true and genuine, people will want to follow that journey. Okay, so distill this journey then in just a few key lessons, right? Someone who is a golf professional, right? They're beholden to a specific club. Maybe they're in a part of the world that they don't really want to live in. They want to move to Northern Ontario like yourself or whatever their equivalent is. What do they need to know? What do they need to be prepared for? What are the skills that they need in order to take this life and make it online?
Number 1, let's talk tech and actual online production. You've got to have control of your sound. Okay. Nobody will listen to anything if there's not good sound. And it's a simple fix. You just buy a DJI mic, and you clip it to your hat or to your shirt and plug it right into your phone, and magically you've got great sound. Okay.
Yep.
Number two, lighting. You gotta understand how to shoot things in a way that look good. You'll see I'm in an attic, but I've specifically chosen a spot right by a window so that the light is on my face, even though I've got a really ugly back. Okay. It at least makes it look
It's a
cozy.
charming background.
And so if you've got sound and light, you can make stuff. Okay. Then you just get the simplest video editor that you can. You get CapCut, which is free until you buy the pro version. And you just start putting stuff together in a way that makes you interested. If you're interested by it, there's going to be somebody else interested by it. So that really takes care of the video and technical stuff. Keep it simple. Then you need to hit a pain point of some kind in somebody. Okay. When I shank the ball, that's a pain point. So if I can accurately describe to you, show you, make you cringe by a shank at 90 yards when you're looking birdie, that feels something. And if I tell you that I could look right here, I'm going to show you how you can fix this so it never happens again. Oh, well, of course I'm going to watch. Why would I not watch? One of the ones that I just posted this week that went to several 100,000 views was a cheating trick to get you compression, to allow you to feel what it feels like to get in the slot. So you can emulate that and move it into your full swing. Well, apparently that's a pain point. Well, guess what? I'm currently making a product that solves that problem. Because you poke, find a pain point, find out what makes people tick, what they want to fix, and then you go deliver value to them at a price that is well below the value that it offers. So in an online business, if you have attention, there's 1,000 companies that want to use your attention to sell their product, and people want to buy those products. And if you are somebody that people trust, what better person to hear from? So let's talk about affiliate stuff and other companies a bit, because I've had that question before as to how you get these partnerships figured out. I chase them, and I chase the ones that fit for me. So for Avoda Golf produces same length irons and combo length irons, and are rethinking how you can use your irons as tools in your bag to be more consistent. I loved their concept. I reached out to them. I bought a set of irons. I tested them out. I got them a whole bunch of sales and millions of views on their products before anything solid, shall we say. I kept poking. I kept emailing, keeping in mind as a young company. I understand running along a young company, there's a lot of crap going on. You don't want to listen to some weirdo emailing you from Timbuktu. It was persistent. And then I saw that they were going to be down in the PGA show in Orlando. So I said, hey, can I come join you? Can I, come and be in your booth and help out? And they're like, well, no, but yes. And through that, we've developed now a relationship that is very good, that is very profitable, that I have affiliate sales on any video links that go through to my link. And so I've produced quite a number of videos explaining and comparing, contrasting clubs. And I succeed by them succeeding. And that's where the win-win is. There are 6 different companies that I'm working with right now, all of whom I have reached out to personally and said, look, do we have an affiliate program? How do we do this? How can we work together? Love what you're doing, using your stuff already. I just want to get more traffic to your site. My interest is your interest, and go forward from there and build long-term relationships. It's not about a $500 check. It's about partnering with people that are going to help on the same vision that you have for your audience.
More importantly, the nugget in there is that these aren't all going to come to you. Yes, if you are a superstar and you build a huge following, you're going to get marketing opportunities. But the reality is that you do have to pursue it as a business. Your content itself, what you make online, is going to get you so far. But you do have to treat that as a business and package that to where you're really going to make potentially even more money, is that through sponsorship. You've got to hustle on the side. Rather than just making the product, you've got to find your partners as well. There's the 2 very different aspects of monetizing here.
Yes. But yeah, you work at it, you fight at it, you build relationships, you find stuff that you love. And in the coming months, we're going to be launching a merch store, which is another avenue. It's a wonderful journey. But I look at the numbers that I have now as a recording of this. through our channels, we've got about 50,000 people that are following. And I look at our numbers coming in money wise, and it's like, geez, if we make that 500,000 and the numbers track, it's looking awfully good.
Yep.
So
And you're able to find that freedom of life pursuing something, right? From
yeah.
where you are, which is basically remote. You're 5 hours north of the 5th largest city in North America.
The Arctic Circle, did you say?
There has been so much great stuff in what we've talked about so far. We have gone through your professional journey, advice that you would have for someone pursuing a professional journey and kind of the pitfalls of that, how to move on from that. Advice about how to become a content creator, how to find this life in golf that is not necessarily tied to a specific location and what those skills are. But let's shift focus now to coaching. Now, how did you become a successful coach? This is not easy for everybody. Ted Williams was one of the worst hitting instructors in baseball after he retired because he could just do things that he couldn't explain, right? So there's a skill to coaching and it has nothing to do with your ability as a golfer. What's this world like?
Okay, well, there's three things that I'm going to say about this. And just so that I remember to say the three things. Number one is communication. Number two is the 5-minute lesson. And number three is the best seminar I ever went to. I have a very successful way of communicating complicated things to people where they understand them in their language, in their understanding, whether it's through analogy, whether it's through relating it to something that they do already understand.
So Raj asked for a little bit of help on his golf swing. All right, Raj, there are two loops. There's a good loop and a bad loop. Right now you're doing the bad loop. We got to get you doing the good loop. The bad loop is this way. Okay, you do not want to go this way. That's coming here and looping over the top this way. Okay, you're going to loop somewhere. You got to loop one way or the other. The correct loop is that way. And I am exaggerating big time.
If I understand it, I can communicate something to you very complicated where you get it very quickly. The way I put it is you take the cookies and you put them down on the bottom shelf so the kids can get them, right? It's an ability that I've had in all of life. It's just being applied to golf now. So that's number one. Number two is the 5-minute lesson. Tim Simpson, the same guy that I was talking about earlier, while I was playing quite poorly during that practice round, and he muttered rather strongly, "Oh, you stupid guys make the same fucking mistakes," which of course got my attention. And
Yeah.
I've always been the kind of person who's asked the next question. I want to know the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. I want to know the truth.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, meet me on the range tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. and I'll show you." Oh, okay. And he put a stick in the ground and he said, "I want you," and keep in mind, I was playing professional at this point. I was pretty good at golf. He said, "I want you to put the stick right here." And he said, "I want you to take the club away where the club comes up over this stick. Then on the way down, I want the club to come inside this stick. And you're going to feel," he says, "you're going to feel," this is one of the important things. He says, "you're going to feel like you're swinging way out to the right and you're going to hit a snap hook, but do it anyways." Okay. And I did it. And I striped it. It wasn't even like, I had nothing to say. I had, like now, I remember the moment like it was yesterday. So anyways, for the next 4 minutes,
So it was really just a 1-minute lesson.
it's really 1 minute left. And then we just kind of like, we just went through 3 different clubs. We went to the driver and the 7-iron and a long iron and just,
Yeah.
Make sure I could get the feel. He said, "You're welcome. There you go."
Yeah.
I shot 27 under in that tournament that week, which told me that golf's really not complicated. If you can feel and understand what it is you're trying to do, your brain can actually get you there.
What did you learn from that has now influenced your coaching in some way?
Everybody is on the doorstep of a breakthrough. And if you can trust the person giving you the advice and they give you the one thing that is going to help you on that next breakthrough, then you just listen and you go do that thing. Most of the teaching that I do starts in the living room. It starts with a ping pong ball or a wiffle ball and a little chip shot with a 7-iron. That's where
What does
most
that tell you?
that tells you where your club face is at impact, which is the only part of the swing that actually matters. You can go download 100 different swings on tour, and you'll see 100 different methods of getting to the ball. But the thing that
Yeah.
you will see with every one of those 100 swings is that the club face is moving in a straight line at the ball, and the club face is pointing where they want it to start every time.
Yeah.
Our bodies will get us there if we understand where we need to get to. Most of us have never even thought about the impact point. They're too busy thinking about your right elbow, whether it should be flying or not.
So that's also a unique way of teaching that you've had to find because you're doing this remotely, right? Are there other specific things that you have changed the way you analyze someone because you're doing it remotely?
Well, yes, in my communication, but no in technique, because it's never been about my belief. I know I'm going against so many great teachers in saying some of these things. That doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just a different method.
Yep.
Not about me laying my hands on you to make your body do a certain thing or to show you a certain thing. It's about you being able to feel what you need to do and to be able to make that action happen. What I found is that having somebody do a very specific, seemingly unrelated activity that leads to the result that we're looking for in their swing allows you to get there a lot faster. Our brains are amazing. If we say, hey, I topped it. But if I said, could you swing through with your club a little lower? It's like, oh yeah, I could do that. Okay, well, what's a top? Top is your club was coming through the ball too high. It hit the top of the ball. Well, what happens if you come through lower? Oh, I chunked it. Oh, great. You succeeded. You didn't top it. Okay, could you come a little higher from that point? Oh, that was really nice. Now, could you come through at that same point, but with your hand a little bit further forward? Oh, I got to think about that for a second. Could I get to here? And then, okay, we'll just do it with a half swing. Oh, look, there you go. Well, I've never felt that before. Exactly. But that's where you actually want to get to. So you can do it too. It's just a matter of being walked through that process. And I think that's where the whole coaching thing is just helping somebody through a problem that they're having in order to achieve something that they want.
And being able to communicate it in a way that you're not actually physically making them feel something. You're allowing them to perform an action that lets them feel it.
Yeah. And what I say to people is that I don't want to fit you into any kind of swing. I want to show you where you need to get to at the ball to be able to hit solid, consistent, straight shots, because I believe that's what you actually want. People say that anyways. Yeah. Oh, I can't hit it consistently. Okay, well, let's hit it consistently then. But then allow your body to add speed to that proper position at impact.
What is the best seminar that you've ever attended, and what light bulbs went on for you?
I wasn't even supposed to be in this seminar. My coach at the time's like, I got to do one of those PGA of America points seminar things. Do you want to come with me? It's going to be so boring. I don't want to do it alone. I'm like, okay, sweet. So I came, and this guy was talking. He at the time was charging $1,000 an hour for coaching, and he completely changed my view. And it goes back to all the different things that we were talking about in this podcast already about the mental side of things, but most specifically what he talked about was boiling golf down to its simplest form. And that is just like ping pong, just like tennis, it is a flat surface round ball game. You have a flat surface on the end of a stick, and it has to hit a round ball. And all the principles that are involved in tennis per se are the same with golf. So he said, when I start teaching somebody new, I get a T-ball stand, a beach ball, and a tennis racket. And I say, hit the ball that way. And they hit it that way. And then I say, hit the ball that way, but spin it from left to right. And they do that. And then I say, hit the ball this way, but spin it from right to left. And you can see the ball spinning and you can feel the club easier because it's a tennis racket, not a golf club, but it's still the same principle. He said, then we graduate to a smaller ball and a different kind of paddle. And then we get down to the golf club. And he had such a beautiful way of explaining it, where the question I get the most is, why do I slice the ball? Because the ball is spinning from left to right. That's the answer to your question. But you don't want to think that. You want to think it's because my arm is in the wrong position or my body weight is wrong. Not necessarily. If you have a tennis ball coming at you on the court and you want to hit a drop shot to the right side of the court. You don't think, okay, drop my elbow, make sure my head's in the right position, move my hips this way. And no, it's like just you hit it there. Well, if you understand where you need to hit the ball at impact, golf becomes as simple as hitting a tennis ball back to the other side of the court. And when you meld that together with being able to explain to somebody where they actually need to get to at impact, you see some really beautiful, beautiful things where people don't shank it anymore and are able to hit solid shots.
So what are coaches doing wrong then in the way that they teach that is different from what you're saying?
I'm gonna caveat this by saying there are a plethora of great, successful, popular coaches who are doing a great job. Unfortunately, the schooling that teaches coaches is very mechanically based. Mechanically based coaching can help the top of golfers, but it's not what most golfers need.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to say that very
sense.
carefully,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm not out to offend people. I'm just
Yeah.
out to make golf a little bit more simple. And as you spend more time on mechanics, especially at the mid to higher handicap levels, the more confusion there is. And sadly, that's what I see on the course and that come into my inbox is just, they're in a space of confusion. Well, I took this lesson and I had this coach and I did this. And it's like, well,
Too many swing thoughts.
too many thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. Too much of the wrong stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need to focus past that into the one thing, summarize it into the one thing that you do want to do.
So let's take it back to that slice. Most golfers have a slice. What is the way that you would fix that slice differently in your way?
So you take your club back a foot and go through a foot, basically. We'll call it 6 yards, 7 iron. If you can't hit that one straight, well, don't start adding speed to it because you haven't even figured out where you're supposed to be at the bottom yet. Let's figure out where you need to be there and then work backwards to add speed a little bit longer, get that right a little bit longer, and the right few drills in there as you add speed into your swing. All of a sudden, your body is turning in a simple way that results in a great impact position, which is the only thing that matters.
I'd say this to myself a lot. The ball doesn't care about your backswing. Your ball cares about the angle at which the face hits it and the speed. That's it. That's the swing thought that I use to keep my swing very short and compact and not get out over the top with my loop that causes my slice. It is just focusing on that contact with the ball. That's all the ball.
It's like, I want to smash this thing into oblivion.
So, David, you found this niche where you can coach golf completely remotely from the place in the world that you love the most. For someone who does not know you, cannot meet you in person, how do you get them to trust you and make them want to give you money to do this?
That's a great question, Mark. We've tried to take as many barriers out of that as possible. First of all, there is a crap ton of free stuff online through YouTube, TikTok, Instagram specifically. Hey, you want to go learn some stuff from me? Great. You just go do that for free online. If it helps you, fantastic. If you want specific help with your swing and what you want to do and what solutions you want to have, we started this thing that we call results-based coaching. And so in our one-on-one coaching, I found that people would come in with one specific issue to start with. Let's call it the shanks. And then we'd fix the shanks and it'd be like, okay, well, what next? I didn't ever think I was going to get fixed from the shanks and it's only been like 2 weeks. So what do we do now? And then they start dreaming about the next thing because it's like, oh, wow, if I don't shank it, now I can actually think about pitching. So what we did is we started creating programs so we've got one called the Shanks course, and it is a pre-prescribed video course, swing analysis course, and one-on-one coaching all bundled together in the right timing. And it's based on when you're able to accomplish the different checkpoints. And then if we don't succeed, I give you your money back. Mm-hmm. How awesome is that? There's no risk to you. It's like, hey, I'm paying for a solution. If we deliver the solution, great. If we don't, then we give you your money back.
So you're not offering a 5-course package to do the best you can in those 5 courses. You're offering, I'm going to fix your shank.
And it's very specific programs like 2-putt from inside 60 feet. Hey, you want to learn how
Mhm.
to putt from 60 feet and in? Great. Let's do that and let's succeed
Mhm.
at that. If you
Mhm.
want more compression, fantastic. I got a program for that. We're going to get you more compression and you're going to hit more consistent, solid golf shots by the end of the program, or I'll just give you your money back because it's not about my time that's going in. It's about whether or not you're going to succeed at the thing that you want. And so instead of paying me, you're just buying the result that you want.
I've never thought of that. That's brilliant. What is the most common course?
The shanks and the
Yeah.
yips are the two things that drive people to coaches
Yeah.
because if you don't know what yips are very specifically, they're just an involuntary motion in your body and they're caused by your eyes and your body not being lined up where they think they are. And so they compete against each other and you end up
Mhm.
confusing yourself during the swing. So the yips course, shanks course, slices is the follow-up one. Shanks is like, no, I need this gone
Yeah.
yesterday.
So, David, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you think is valuable for different types of our listeners? One is the recreational golfer learning their swing. Two is the pro or aspiring pro. And three is the coach out there.
Yes. And I've got one that's going to hit all three of those. And sadly, I see too much of the other side of this one. And that is anytime you are at a golf course, on a golf course, tournament play, casual play, on a driving range, you are in one of the best places on earth. Act like you're in the best place on earth. You know, I play with guys in a casual round of golf that mean nothing, and they helicopter clubs across the golf course. It's like, dude, I don't know if you just saw, but on the last hole, there were like 3 deer that ran by, and there's like
Yeah.
birds flying in the trees, and like it
You're getting
smells
vitamin D,
incredible.
fresh air.
Yeah, you're playing the best
Yeah.
game on earth. There's no activity, and this is true of playing pros. This is true of the 30 handicappers. This is true of coaches who are in the doldrums of just teaching day in and day out with ever getting to play. So let's, instead of getting frustrated that we made a triple bogey, let's choose to be grateful that we're there making the triple bogey. It's still the best place on earth. So get a hold of your gosh darned emotions and choose to be grateful for the opportunity that you have to be out there, and then go hit your next shot.
Great advice. Where can people find you?
Fortunately, I've made it as simple as I possibly can. Go to BigSwingKings anywhere. Now, that's BigSwingKings.com is the website where you see all the links to stuff. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok is all at Big Swing Kings. Surprisingly, nobody else took that name.
Nobody had fucking love golf either.
Oh, that's amazing.
So, but I'm actually not allowed to use that on most platforms. I was able to get it on Instagram, and then I changed the brand to the FLG Golf Podcast, and I tried to lock in fucking love golf, but they no longer allow it. So at least I know there's not going to be a competitor out there. Well, David, I want to thank you very much for being this incredibly insightful guest about a lot of elements that hopefully people have learned and can be inspired on their business journey, on their golf journey, on their coaching journey.
Mark, thank you so much for having me. I wish you all the best. If ever you need anything or commentary on anything and you want me back on, I'm here.
I appreciate it. Talk to you soon, David. Thank you for watching the FLG Golf Podcast. Subscribe to keep learning from, laughing with, and being inspired by others who are on a journey and have found lives in golf. If you've got an idea for a show, or if you want to be a guest, hit me up. And don't forget, you can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. For a playlist of other full episodes, click right here. For a playlist of best of highlight reels from all our full episodes, click right here. Thanks again for watching, and fucking love golf.